Come in, come in. Come in, my pretties. Hello! Welcome to the wonderful, whimsical, witchy, crafty world of DottysSockery. I'm Susie and I'm coming to you from near Wolverhampton in the West Midlands. And it's Friday the 13th of March. Bad luck for some, not for all. We are witchy after all. So, episode 4. We've got to episode 4. I've done 4 consistent, relatively consistent podcasts, which is great for me. I don't do things consistently, but we're getting there. And I've got lots of different things to talk about today. Very, very different. There's some of the normal sort of knitting crochet stuff, but there's some other things as well, which is new and interesting. So there's been some frogging, there's been some new cast on confessions. I did promise I wouldn't, but I have. And I've got something witchy to tell you about, which is exciting. I will leave that till a little bit later on. So first things first, hello if you're new, by the way. This is fairly organic. There's not much planning involved in this. I just sit and talk and see what happens. So last podcast I spoke about buying a spinner, and I did, and it arrived, and I tried it. I wasn't very good at it. I took it to Mum's. Mum showed me how to actually do the thing. And I did a little bit of spinning. I'm not brilliant at it. I am not consistent at it. I am consistently inconsistent. But I have done some spinning. So I can show you my little spool. It is an e-spinner. It's not an expensive one. It's just a sort of Amazon special sort of non-UK sort of manufactured one. I didn't want to spend a fortune on something that I didn't know if I was going to enjoy. So the plan was basically, I need to move my hair off the mic, sorry if that does things. So basically I did some spinning. So there's lots of different colours in here. Underneath there's some pinks, and there's some purples, there's some greens, blues, all kinds of things. And I've just broken it. That's how good I am. That's going to be the thumbnail now, isn't it? Just me like, yeah, so some of it I've overspun, some of it I was quite good at it to start with, and then I kind of got bad at it. So I've underspun and overspun in places. So some of it does that, and some of it will just pull apart. But I'm getting used to the technique, and I think that's the key to it, really. So some of it's fairly consistent, and then I have moments where I just do a sort of oopsie like that. So I'm just getting used to the techniques and how to get the yarn to actually go onto the spool without overspinning. But yeah, for a first attempt, yeah, you can see some pinks in there. For a first attempt, there's pink. That's not bad. And even if it's not consistent, I can still ply it and I can still use it with something. So I'll probably ply it with something that's already consistent, and that way it's kind of it'll kind of save the bits that aren't consistent, hopefully, and then I can use it on something. But the plan is to get better at this and do more of it, and well, watch this space, because I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep having a go. I've got some more spools. I'm just going to keep going and fake it till I make it, as they say. So I'm just going to keep pretending I'm okay at it until I work out how to it's muscle memory more than anything, I think. Remembering how to sort of feed it in and whatnot. And yeah, not very consistent, but I've had a go. So watch this space, there will be more of that. I did some frogging. So you'll remember me, if you've been here before, you watched the last podcast, you'll remember me talking about my whip pile and how it was marginally shameful. Actually, I've changed my mind on that. I watched, I've forgotten her name. It'll come to me, it'll come. A whip roundup for the year, and her whips were sort of way off in the distance in number compared to mine. And I thought, actually, if I've got less than 20, I'm doing okay, considering I am, I'm sort of driven by novelty. So I start something, get excited, get bored, start something else, get excited, get bored. And I'm going to fall off the chair here. I haven't got a drink yet. Let me grab a drink. There we go, that's better. I have my Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter's Tea Party cup, and I've got me a caramel macchiato latte. Sounds posher than it actually is. It's just frothy coffee. Pop that down there. Cool down there. So, frogs. The first thing I frogged was the Boo Knits Dragonfly Wing Shawl. Absolutely beautiful pattern. I love the pattern. I love everything about it. It is whimsical and witchy and a little bit Halloweeny. It's totally my vibe. It's spiky bits. It's, you know, it looks like wings. It's theatrical and, you know, it's dramatic, and I like a dramatic shawl. However, the yarn, this fabulous yarn, which I remember the name of the colour, but I don't remember who it's by. It's dark rainbow. It is a lace weight. It's a sort of purpley grey base with, oh well, you can see it actually with sort of rainbow through it. It looked absolutely beautiful in the skein because all the colours sort of merged into each other and they looked beautiful. It doesn't look so good pulled up, but it does knit up really nicely, and the colours look fantastic. However, the yarn is too fine for the pattern. The pattern, I think, called for either a fingering or I think it was a 4-ply. It's just either a sock yarn or a fingering or something like that. And this was just that little bit too fine, so it was losing textures. So there's sort of ridges and bumps with like pearl bumps and things in there that were creating specific shapes, and it wasn't coming through with this yarn at all. So I have kept the pattern. The plan is to find another yarn and do the thing, because this is going to go into something else. I might end up holding this double with something else because it is such a fine little lace weight. It's literally, it's almost like cotton. It's so fine. But I love it. I love it dearly. It's just not working for that pattern. So that's been frogged. I do plan on caking it, but I've just balled it up for now just to get it sort of out and frogged. And the second thing that I frogged, and this is the one I thought I might regret, but I don't. The Bellinate blouse, if you remember from the last few podcasts, I've been working on it for some time. I was using the Ulysses yarn that I dyed up with my mum, and it's actually a yarn that she kept in the shop and she still sells. It's based on the Ulysses butterfly. Absolutely beautiful, stunning yarn. I have a Ulysses butterfly somewhere. Up there, yeah, over that side. Actually, there's one. That's one of my paintings. I have a bit of an obsession with butterflies, as you can sort of tell. So I found that I had started too big on the shoulders. I have very, very tiny shoulders for my build. And so I'd started too big on the shoulders. I'd then done increases for the bust to fit my particular shape, not realised that I'd gone too big, and then tried to bring it back again at the waist. And I'd lost the pattern shape completely. It did not look like the pattern. It was kind of baggy here. It's meant to be a very similar shape to this sort of top, where it's sort of quite a wide neck. Even here I've got shoulders that hang. Yeah, very tiny shoulders. Tiny shoulders combined with a big chest. It's sort of odd shape. It sort of hung off the shoulders. It was very, very big around the chest, and then I brought it in at the waist enough, but it just too much for the rest of the shape of the top. So it was very, very baggy and then didn't work. And there wasn't a logical point that I could rip it back to that made sense. So I just ripped the whole thing out, and there's the yarn. I absolutely love this colourway. It's just so beautiful. It's got sort of it's a kind of mauve pinky kind of purple going on there with the Ulysses sort of blues and the greens, and it's sort of it's got the elements of the original picture. I think I'll see if I can find the original picture and pop that in somewhere. It was sort of picking up the flowers and the sort of butterfly colours and whatnot, and there's a little bit of black in there as well, where sort of it picks off the butterfly. So I was holding this, not holding it. I wasn't holding it. I was knitting this and using black as well in a sort of. I was trying to do a fade into black from this. That didn't work either. Because I didn't have enough of this in DK to finish the project. What I should have done was dyed more. Did not happen. And the only stuff that Mum had in the shop that I could commandeer was 4-ply. So it was, I think it was sock yarn. So that wasn't an option. So I need to find another pattern for this yarn. And if you have any words, if you have any ideas, chuck them in the comments. Oh, my door is out. Right, sorted. Well, that was fun. So, I know I'd get disturbed. I can guarantee if you do this in the afternoon or sort of, what is it, almost 5 o'clock, you can guarantee if you do it during the day, you're going to get distracted or get somebody come in and knock the door or whatever. So that is my frog things that have been frogged. I feel like I could have frogged more things. There was a partial frog as well, which we can sort of, I suppose we can move into whips. I'll do finished objects in a minute, but I want to talk about the partial frog. So the Anake crop thing, the Anake crop top that I've been working on for a while. This is this lovely sort of chevroned rib. Yeah, you can see that quite well. I absolutely love this. I had split for the sleeves too early, and I think I just got a bit carried away. And I split for the sleeves too early, realised that it was too cropped, and thought, no. So I have ripped it right back. There was also a lot of, I think I must have been angry when I was knitting it. I must have been in a mood when I was knitting it because I got some really inconsistent stitches. It was very very, very inconsistent. My heating's just come on. I don't know if you can hear that. It's on a timer. Sorry if you can hear that, but I do have that. To be fair, I do have the little thing. The thing? Microphone, that's the word. So, yeah, I ripped it right back to there, and now I'm just going to knit a little bit further to get to the stage where I'm comfortable with the length before I actually split for the sleeves again. Not that they're sleeves, it's sort of underarm straps, you know. But yeah, before I do the split. The other option was to frog it right back to the chevrons and actually carry them up longer. That I was tempted, but I think I want to stick to the pattern with this and maybe knit it again and bring those up, right up to sort of the top really, and just sort of do the pattern all the way through maybe, because I really, really like it. It's absolutely beautiful. Probably a bit fluffy. This yarn picks up every little bit of lint that it can. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the backside to wear, I think, especially around animals. These little bits of, I don't have any animals here right now, and I've got little bits of fluff all over it. That is the Valley Yarns black. It's the 75-25 superwash merino nylon. It's a terrible, terrible yarn that splits constantly. It's very, very, I can't actually see it very well there, but it splits so easily. And it's a pain, but it's my favourite colour. And it's nice and soft. It is nice and soft, and I like it. It's just a pain in the backside to work with. I also have my little bats. Look how cute they are. My little bat. Yeah, so that one, I've got that in my alpaca bag. No, llama bag. My alpaca bag's down there. So this is one of my mum's, so this is usually yarn craft, but this is one of the prototypes, and it's lasted very, very well, considering. I have the Jan sweater. Now, for those who have been consistent rather viewers, you will remember the Jan sweater from the first podcast as the mystery. I found a whip. I've forgotten what pattern it is. I've forgotten everything about it, but it's a beautiful rip. And yes, you'll remember this. It's so consistent. It's so pretty. It's wonderful. So last time I featured it on the podcast, I got to that part of the rib there. That part of the rib there. I was still in the rib and I hadn't started the pattern, so I have got lots further, and I've also done a colour change. So here we go. We have some work. Let me just find the best point to show it from, because there's a very, there we go. There's a point to this, I promise. So there's this wonderful kind of, again, chevrons. I've got a thing for chevrons. Chevron sort of pattern to it that meets there in a triangle, and then it will start again. Excuse me. I've got a froggy throat. I think I need to have a drink. I've been talking too much. I do that. Yeah, and on the other side, it's the same. There we go. So we have this lovely arrow kind of thing featuring here, and then it will start again, pointing down from there, with these lovely yarn over holes. And I've got to there with it now, and I'm absolutely loving it. I am knitting on this constantly, but it's taking forever because it's such a skinny little yarn. I do love a skinny yarn though. And I just love it. So I've now moved into the second colour, which is in the bag. It's not in the bag. So yeah, I've now moved on to the burdock. So these are John Arbon yarns, these two. So flax and burdock, they're the harvest hues. I've mentioned these yarns numerous times on previous podcasts, so I won't go too deep into what they are. You can always go and have a look if you want to know more. I could always pop in the blurb as well. So yeah, we've moved on to that colour, and then pretty soon, once I get out of that colour, we'll move on to this one, which is one of the Second City yarns. So I'm excited for that. And then there's another colour, this one. So there we go. So we're going from dark to the lightest colour at the top, and I'm absolutely loving it. This pattern is a dream. It's just a nice little repeat. It's a 4-row repeat that moves over a stitch every time. Every time you get to one of these the yarn over repeats, you moved over a stitch basically. So they sort of create this pattern, and then here there's the point where that pattern kind of meets, and it's beautiful. It's so yeah, it's a Susan Crawford pattern called the Jan Sweater, and it's a sort of 1950s style. Again, not dissimilar to this shape, sort of slightly puffy sleeve, into the waist, into a rib. And I love that shape. I love that 1950s kind of silhouette to what are they? Jumpers, sweaters? Sweaters, I suppose, aren't they? I've really got a froggy throat today. I think we should go back to drinking the coffee. The coffee is good. The coffee is very sweet, actually. It's very caramelly. Yes, so absolutely loving knitting on that one. The next whip is my Monarch butterfly cardigan. Now, I'm only showing the whips today that I've actually made significant progress on, because there's lots and lots of whips that I haven't made a decision on yet, or that I've either not made a decision on whether to sort of finish or frog, or I might do a separate video on that actually. Should we do a finish or frog video? That seems to be quite apt at the moment. There's a few people doing those. Someone with a very noisy car, do apologise. I live on a main road, so it can be a bit noisy. But it's nice and bright today. The weather's a bit changeable. It's sunny at the moment, but it was hailing earlier, which was interesting. So this pattern is it's a crochet pattern. It's BiyaBimi, something like that. I worry about pronunciations. Yeah, BiyaBimi. And I'm literally just using stash leftovers. So I have some Aran acrylics in purple and teal, which are the main colours, and then I'm using some other sort of leftovers of various bits of merino that I've got left over. I've got some Sheep on Mars yarns in there, bits of all sorts, to be honest. So this is progress so far. So this is a part of a sleeve. Well, it'll be the back of the sleeve. It'll be sort of that side. So that will be the sleeve. I love these colours together. They really pop against each other. So I've got the sort of purpley Aran acrylic there, and then I've got, these are acrylics as well. These two, I've got two held together there to make that blue colour. And these are bits of merino. I've got a white, where is it? There it is. I have had this yarn. It's very, you can tell how long I've had it because it's the cake is kind of falling apart. That's a Sheep on Mars yarn, and I've had it since the dawn of time. I think it was one of the first yarns that I acquired when I first started knitting. Again, people with very noisy, bassy music on their cars. And I actually still have the ball band on this one. There we go. It's a 75/25 superwash nylon. Doesn't say what the colourway is anymore. I don't know if it ever did. Yeah, there's no colourway name on it. It's just Sheep on Mars, and it's got some blues and some purples and some oranges and things in there. And I just thought it went really well, and it really pops against the purple. So that's all these sort of white bits. Well, they look white in comparison to the others, but there is a blue held together with it as well, a very light blue, which is a leftover of unknown origin. I could not tell you what this is anymore. I don't think it's even mine. I think I may have acquired this from someone else. There's some greens in there, some blues in there. It's just a nice sort of thing. Smells sheepy, so I'm presuming it's a merino, but I do not know. I have no idea what it is. It's got no label. It's lost to time, so there's so many different yarns connected to that. But yeah, and I've got that in my alpaca bag. This is the alpaca bag. So this is a Knittery yarn craft bag, of course. So this, Mum promised to make this for me. For anyone who's new, Knittery yarn craft is my mum. I saw a bag which was made for someone else. I think it was in the shop, so she's made it specifically for someone in this fabric. It may have been on her podcast actually. I think it was on her podcast. I think I commented, "Where's my alpaca bag?" Because I really love it. Look how cute they are. Look at their little faces. Just look at their faces. Oh my god. Yeah, they're so beautiful. So I needed it, and I wasn't going to be happy until I got one. I love the inside as well. I love that fabric. It's just so like a grey and cream kind of striped pattern. And so she promised to make it for me, and I had to wait a little while because she got Christmas orders and all sorts of things to get out of the way first. But I have it now. I'm very happy. And she's got a little label on it. I'm very glad that she started putting the labels on these kind of labels on now, because they just look so lovely. That is WIP that I have actually actively worked on. There are many others. However, that I haven't made any progress on anything else because I've just been obsessing over that and the two new things that I've cast on. So cast on Confessions. Oh, actually, no, should we do a finished object first? I do have a finished object. I totally forgot about the finished object. I do have a finished object. So this is, I'm going to have to remember what it's called. Where has it gone? It's over the page. This was a simple tank. So this is the Simple Tank by the Little Knittery. I believe I called them something completely different last podcast. I think I called them the Little Kittery or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, that's me not being able to read my own handwriting. My brain works quicker than my hands do. I can't help it. Little Knittery yarns, and it was a chunky roving yarn that I picked up at the Southern Wool Show. Cannot remember the vendor. It's, again, lost to time. I did a haul roundup on Mum's podcast as a little feature for the Southern Wool Show. So if you want to know what it is, you can always head over to Yew-Tree Yarncraft and have a look at the Southern Wool Show roundup from last year. I can't remember when it was. I can't remember. I can't even remember what time of year it was. But it's there, and in that little roundup that I did, I mentioned whose yarn this is, but I can't remember right now. And I need to get better at consistently keeping ball bands or labels and things like that, because I just get excited about the yarn and just rip it off and it's gone forever. So this is a very inconsistent chunky yarn, as you can see. It's very fluffy in places, it's spun tighter in other places, and I love that. I love inconsistency in yarn. It feels rustic and kind of natural. And it's a little bit quirky, like me, and I'm all for that. I'm all for quirky. So yeah, simple tank, and it's just a little cropped tank top. There it is. So it's very, very simple, and it's in a chunky yarn, and it's one of the easiest patterns I've ever used, to be honest, because it's just so simple. You literally just knit and it happens. There's a I-cord strap. You start the I-cord at one side and then you just attach it to the end, and vice versa with the other one. So one is attached sort of here and the other one is attached on the back. So one on the front, one on the back. And yeah, it was just really, really enjoyable. You're actually supposed to do it in two pieces and sew it together, but I did it in the round and then split, and that worked better for me. But I'm not a huge fan of purling for sort of long periods of time, so I actually love knitting in the round, and I love that sometimes it's just nice to do that kind of mindless round and round and round bit as a way of kind of taking your brain out. And so yeah, I did it in the round to start, for the most part. But that to me is a sort of, that can be summery, that can be kind of wintry as a layering piece, that can be pretty much anything. But that's a nice kind of, yeah, that's just gonna be a base for all sorts of things, you know. And the colours are just me completely. It's greens and purples. It hasn't been blocked, mainly because I don't know how to block it particularly, because I don't want to pin it tightly, and I don't want to kind of, I think if I pin it and stretch it that way, it won't fit that way, if that makes sense. So I did make it cropped, so I did make it a little bit shorter than it should have been. And now I have the worry that if I block it that way, that it's going to be too short, and if I block it that way, it's going to be too thin. So I haven't blocked it. I just washed it and kind of hung it. And to be fair, it hasn't rolled or anything. I thought it would roll, but it didn't. So I'm really, really happy with it. And it's just quirky, and it's just very, very me. So love that. And that is my only finished object. And it smells absolutely beautiful. It's definitely definitely a really, really nice smelling fibre. And it's really soft. And you know, I like soft is nice. Turn it into my mother. Put yarn on your face, yay! So you've got to have the pinky up when you use this cup. I do have the saucer for it as well. It's just over there. But I wasn't feeling a saucer vibe today, so. There are other whip projects that I have not been working on. I've got the wolf bayo, I've got the peaky cat socks, which I have not worked on at all, and I'm very sad that I haven't worked on them because I really want the finished object. I just can't bring myself to do the colour work. And I have sirens. Sorry. I live in a very, very noisy street. I've got a braided sweater scarf. I might rip that back to down to the sleeve, because it's one that you need to cross. because I put beads on it. The beads are very, very fine and the yarn is too thick for the beads, so they don't look right. So I think I might take it back, take the beads off it and use the beads for something else, because it just doesn't work for that yarn. Because it's an Aran weight yarn, and the beads I think are meant for maybe a 4-ply, but at most a DK, and it's not really working. So I've got a few crochet bits. I've got the Lost Soul shawl, which I've kind of fallen out of love with because I just can't get the pattern in my head. So I have to look at it constantly. And if I've finished work and I don't want to read a pattern, it's not a project I'm going to pick up. I've got a cable crop top that I started as it's a crochet pattern by Marcy Makes. And I started that as a kind of something to do in between sets when I was performing. I was singing at a craft event. I was the entertainment, yay! So in between the bits and bobs, I was sat with one of the makers that was vending the event, and we were sat crocheting. So she's the lady that made all the crochet Christmas trees, if you've seen my previous podcasts, and I bought one of those from her because they're amazing. Again, still cannot remember her name. I've got the Neptune's Tears shawl by Expression Fibre Arts, Anastasia Roberts. That I have also not touched, although that is a little bit sort of, you can just pick that pattern up and not really read the pattern, just not think about it. But they're a little bit neglected. I do need to finish some things. So I have proposed that I'm going to do a Finish It Friday. So I'm going to start that maybe today. Every Friday I'm going to pick up an unloved project. I'm going to put down the things that I'm enjoying doing and I'm obsessing over. Because I do that, I get hyper focused on things. And I'm going to put those down, and I'm going to pick up something that it's neglected in some way. So it could be one of those crochet patterns, it could be one of the others. I think I might start with the Peaky Cat socks, the Caitin Beag pattern, because I'm desperate to finish them. I really want the finished object, but ho hum, I need to get it done. So cast-ons. I have two. I figured I frogged two things. I can cast two things on. That was my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. And I also have a finished object, so technically I could do a third. No, stop, no. Behave yourself. Yes, so I've done a knitting pattern and a crochet pattern that I've cast on. The crochet pattern is... I've forgotten what it's called. It's just one of those sort of really simple ones. It's Crochet Cozy Granny Square Cardigan. So it's a Hey crochet pattern. I'm only using the pattern. See, I'm quite an advanced crocheter, so I don't really tend to need patterns a lot of the time. But I got the pattern. It is a free pattern. You can grab it on Ravellry, I think. Can't remember where I got it from, but it's a Hey crochet pattern, and it's one of those patterns that's like, it's just a boredom saver, and it's mindless, and I don't have to think about it. So, and I love a crochet pattern that I don't have to think about, that I can just pick it up, and it's basically just sewn together granny squares. And the reason I got the pattern was for the construction and for the gauge mostly. I've used DK acrylics to get rid of some stash, basically. I have a load of acrylic left from some granny square blankets that I did. Words are hard today. I don't know what my hair's doing. Calm down. Yeah, words are hard today. But yeah, I did a load of granny square blankets over the past couple of years. I've done four or five, maybe five. For various people, 2 for myself, 1 for my little nephew, and a couple for friends. and I want one for my sister as well, so that's probably 6. Um, lots. And I have loads of acrylic left over, so masses and masses of acrylic yarns just hanging around. So I thought, let's just stash bust, let's just get them used. So yeah, I've got, I just stuck that through. Yeah, I'm just using a DK acrylics with a 5mm hook, and this is what we have so far. We have some purple, we have some green, I've got some light greens, some lighter purples, I've got a lilac. So they're all greens and purples that I've got left for the most part. There's a couple of blues, I think, but I don't think I'll use those. I at least want it to have a vibe. It's my vibe. Greens and purples. Green, purple and black. That works. The second cast on, I feel like I've waffled on that one a little bit. So the second cast on is something that I've wanted to do for a while. So I picked up this pattern from Yarndale last year, and I fell in love with it because it's silly and it's wonderful at the same time. So I am a big cat fan. So this is the same designer that made the Piggy Cat socks, and could be that could be a very silly thumbnail as well, couldn't it? Cat butt. Yeah, the cat butt sweater. It's Marna Gilligan. It's Caitin and Caitin Beag, or Caitin Beag. I'm not sure. I think Caitin Beag might be the company. Marna Gilligan, I think, is the designer. But yeah, cat butt sweater. So I'm doing this version here with a single cat. I'm gonna probably put a rib on the sleeve rather than the end of the sleeve being the I-cord, because I have sensory issues with I-cord sleeves. I don't like the way they roll. So yeah, I've started that, and I'm using cottons. So I'm using DK cottons because I thought this needs to be something that is a kind of summery pullover that I can just wear summer evenings, something silly. So I've gone for this kind of colour, but this version, and that, I mean, that is just amazing. It's just so much fun. I did consider doing green and black, but everything I own is green and black, so I thought I'll have a change, but I am doing the black cat. So I have a whole host of paint box cotton DKs, just very basic cottons. And so far, I have one shoulder bit. That's a sort of here. One shoulder bit, and then I have the other one in progress. And it's a top down, so you do you do all the panels separately and then sew them together, sort of construction wise. So that is, I'm actually being really consistent with stitching. I'm usually terrible with cottons when it comes to consistency, but that's actually working quite well. And that one, actually quite consistent for me, that is. So yeah, I'm using a, need my glasses on, 3.75mm needle. I've got my butterfly stoppers. Love those. And these are my new Kiku, yeah, the Stellar interchangeables. And I'm going to do a review of these actually at some point, because this is my new set and I actually really love them. They're amazing, so I will do a proper review of those at some point. So the grey is the main colour. I've got the black for the cat and then the green for the eyes. I had to have some green in it, didn't I? So yeah, that's going to be a nice summer, and that's the one that's in the wicked colours bag, as I call it. Again, just a prototype Yew-Tree yarn craft bag. So yeah, really looking forward to making progress on that. I want to get to a stage where I've actually got a garment looking type thing, Excuse me. And yeah, really excited about it. The pinky was on purpose. So, the last thing in the world of things for today, I have begun a little witchy, crafty project. It is not yarn related. It is not even fibre arts related, really. It's a besom broom, basically. So it's basically a decorative witch's broom for the house, to sit in the corner and just look witchy. And I've wanted to make one for a very long time. I bought one a few years ago that kind of just fell apart. It wasn't an expensive one. It was quite badly made. It fell apart and I ended up binning it, and I was sad. And I kind of missed having a broom in the corner, and you know, that whole vibe that my house is. You know, I've got the witchy vibe going on throughout. It kind of feels wrong without a besom. So the first point of call, without wrecking the place, was to find a stick that would serve as the broom handle. So I got this on my walkabouts. I went to one of the local walking spots by a canal, and I had a walk, and I came across this stick, and I'd been looking for a stick for a few weeks and hadn't found one that kind of met the requirements. But this looks like a broom. It's the way it's curved, the way it's bent. It was a little bit longer. I have cut it down. I've debarked it. I've cleaned it. I left it to soak overnight so that there was no little creatures sort of burrowing in it or whatever. I've started just carving out the top, and I'm gonna finish. I might do some kind of pattern on that. I might not. I don't know yet. At the moment, I've just sort of smoothed it off. I've carved into the base so that I can fix a crossbar on it to fit all the bits on that are going to hang off the bottom of it. And there's some interesting knots in it that I am going to put some crystals in. And then I have these little, I don't know how well you can see, but I've made a little video. You'll be able to see better on that one. There's these little intricate burrowing insect burrow patterns all over it that I'm going to make a feature of, because some of them look like runes, some of them look like ancient markings and things like that, and they're just, because they're natural, I think I want to kind of make the most of that. And so I'm going to put some paint into those grooves just to really highlight them. And then I need to put a protectant on it, either oil, or I don't really want to varnish it, to be honest. I'd rather not do that because that takes away the natural look of the wood. So it may just get either a wax or an oil put onto it just to keep it. But there's still some areas that need a little bit more sanding down and whatnot, so there's some rough areas on it. So it needs a little bit more work at the moment, but that is the beginnings of it. And I'll pop in a little video at the end that basically just runs through all the bits that I've put together for it. And I will, at some point, when I get round to putting the whole thing together, making it, I'll actually put a video together of that, and as a separate kind of thing, if anyone's interested in watching it. I mean, you may not be. So I had to stop because I had a phone call. I forgot to put the, I record on my phone and I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb. And of course, someone disturbed me. The sun's moved now. I feel like I've been on the phone for ages. It took me so long to get this out. So that is pretty much everything that I wanted to go through today. It's been lovely having you all here. And I do have some other plans as well. I bought another crochet dress pattern, which I'll put up. I can't remember what it is offhand. I'll put it up. That's going to be my other cast on. Just had an idea for a thumbnail. Bunches. They're like Minnie Mouse ears. Yeah, that was random. Anyway, what I will say is look after yourselves. Have a wonderful, crafty, yarny few weeks. And hopefully your worlds are wonderful and all good. And look after your hands and your elbows and things. I've hurt my elbow at the moment, so I've got a lovely swelling here at the moment. So knitting has become a bit of a problem, but crochet seems to be okay. But here is a bit, yeah. But I've got funny joints anyway that do that. So yeah, I'm just take it easy and look after yourselves and have a wonderful yarny crafty time. And goodbye from me in my little whimsical witchy world. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Oh, actually, if you get this far, because Mum tried this the other day and it was actually quite fun to read the comments. If you get right to the end, send me something witchy in the comments. Yes, something witchy. I'm here for that. And I will love you all and leave you. And I will see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful few weeks. Here are the makings of my besom broom laid out before me. The body of it itself, the stick, has some lovely intricate markings on it from creatures that have burrowed. It's got knots where I'm going to put some stones. It's got sort of this natural coloration. And then here, you can see, it's probably best here actually, you can see these burrow marks from creatures and they look amazing. They look like some kind of inscription. It's really interesting. So I'm going to make a feature of those by putting some paint into them. There's another hole for a stone there, and I've just carved out the edge to make it easier to attach the bulk of the broom, which is going to be this straw here. I do need to neaten it up and just pull it all out so it's all straight, and some of this is going to get taken away and braided, so I can have a braid around the edge. So similar to this, but it's going to all match the colour. I've got some other sort of twigs there. I think they're birch, possibly. Can't remember off the top of my head. I've got some pampas grass, some blue pampas grass there. A bit more of that. Some peacock feathers. I'm just going to layer these over the top. I have some lavender stalks there. I'm going to try and attach those without making a mess. So that could be interesting. And just some twine to sort of bind everything together. So yeah, when I have the chance, that's going to be a besom broom.